welcome back to the Spice Bronze channel. Again, you are with Bridget. I just wanted to take a minute to jump on here and I guess address some things that were left for me in my response section from a video that I posted. And if you're not aware of that video, it was a video that I posted about why I wouldn't boycott Black businesses. And let me tell you, the comment section lit up. But instead of debating strategy, some folks, they came from my identity. They questioned whether or not I was Black enough or American. And let me assure you, I am Black. I am American, born and bred. Both parents, both sides of my family are American, born and bred. And even if they weren't, who cares? It doesn't make me or any immigrant, no matter where they are or where they're from, less than or less deserving of respect and humanity. So let's just go ahead and get that out of the way. The crazy part was one lady, the comment that stood out to me, she says, you spoke, so now we know you're dumb. I'm lettered and you're not. Like, what? Well, like, where did that even come from? Like, what kind of oppressor, less than, greater than type of foolishness was she playing? I'm like, sis, you shifted the point to flex credentials. And for the record, I am lettered. But who cares? I mean, it doesn't even matter. And we're not even talking about education credentials. So to even jump into the comment, she lost the point. I mean, it's like, if you're lettered, how do you not? I guess she's the living example of how and why education is not common sense. It doesn't even show that you have critical thinking acuity. So, I mean, it's just foolishness stuff that it just blows you away. And I know some people will say social media isn't real, but what we're going through is more than real, and it's dangerous. And it's just some things that we need to address. But while we're here trying to check for resumes, or while she's here trying to check for resume, you know that the real enemy is checking us off their list. So, I mean, it's like, where's your attention? Where's your priorities? So you're fighting about going into, from her comments, businesses, and from what she made it seem on countless occasions, and she was disrespected. My thing is, if somebody's disrespecting me, I don't care who they are. You're not getting my money or my time. I don't have to boycott you, and nor do I announce that I'm going to boycott you. I'm not going back to your establishments. That's just common sense, or at least it should be common sense. So, I mean, I don't even know where to begin with her. But the crazy thing is what's at stake is what we see happening around us. And that's the plot that's being lost, I think, in everything. And that's the anti-Blackness laws, the police violence, this administration who is constantly red lighting, green lighting, everything against us. I mean, this guy is no holds barred tearing us up. From the anti-DEI to taking away grants that deals with sickle cells to, just the Blaxploitation. So while we argue over who's real, they're erasing our history from classrooms, they're rolling back our hard-fought civil rights wins. I mean, it's like they're draining resources from Africa. So why are we worried about going into a business where you're braiding someone's hair? And if you can't engage that shop owner and figure out what the point is, then don't go back. More than enough people will see, as you saw with the Essence response. Once it gets online and people start to see that, then yeah, okay. But to call for, an economic boycott within the diaspora, I think is more harmful than it will as far as helping us. So other people are profiting from our culture while they're locking us out of its ownership. And I think that's where we need to keep our focus. And they're counting on us to keep fighting each other so that we don't notice that they're constantly robbing us and tearing away the fabric of the things that we've established. Our history, our heritage, our stories are our responsibility. And it's up to us to tell those. And in order to tell those, we have to know those and we have to share those. So for those that were in the comments, no matter where I've engaged them, especially the FBAs. And if you don't know what that is, that's Foundational Black Americans, who say they, I'm guessing, can trace their lineage back to born and bred American USA soil. They want to gatekeep who is Black enough. Blackness is global. That's why the anti-Blackness is global, because we are global. And people are doing everything that they can to make sure that we stay oppressed. But as far as us, those of us that are USA born and bred Black citizens, we've carried generations through slavery, through Jim Crow, through the redlining, even past the point of them destroying our villages, our communities, Seneca Village, Atlanta, Rosewood, Tulsa, from them just destroying so much stuff that we've had, that we fought for. I get it. I get the point that there are frustrations when there's no community, there's no connection between Black immigrants and American Blacks. I get it. But that's something we can internally fix, as opposed to getting out here and fighting out loud in the open. And if we don't address that, we will continue to be torn apart at the core of who we are. And for the FBA, it's more than just cash payments for reparations. We need more than that. And every time I engage someone from that section, it's always tangibles. Okay, what's your strategy? What are you doing to ensure that you get whatever outcome it is that you're desiring? And I have yet to see a coherent plan that involves all Black Americans, since that's where you're saying your concern is, that makes sense, that gives us voting power, that gives us some type of strategic leverage that we can use to arrive at the outcome that you're talking about. I haven't seen that. All I've seen is the divisive rhetoric telling people who is or who is not Black enough. So we need the economic power, we need the environmental justice, we need the cultural recognition, we need global solidarity. And I think this gatekeeping trap, which is what it is doing nothing more than splitting us. And it's not even frustrating for me, because I can truly look over it, because I'm big enough to where it doesn't affect me. I've lived in different countries, so I understand the mindset of being more global, more cosmopolitan about that. I don't have to worry about, limiting my culture or my experiences to just one slice of life. I just think that it's dangerous for people to try and gatekeep who is and who is not Black. And historically, it's wrong. Africans were stolen from the continent and enslaved in the Americas, North, South America, and in the Caribbean islands. We were taken everywhere from Europe to the Americas to the Caribbeans. And the wild part that I don't understand is the bulk of the slaves, from what they called us or considered us, the bulk of the stolen people, were not even brought to America. They were taken to Brazil and South America. So to sit here and say who is Black, I don't get it. It is what it is, but historically it's wrong. And to sit here and play some type of gatekeeping game on who is and who isn't Black is it's a fool's errand, at least in my estimation. That's what it is. Our people came here via vessels, and we all were a part of that transatlantic slave route. Our whole heritage didn't stem from slavery, nor did it start from slavery, but the oppressor doesn't want you to know that. And instead of us focusing on who we are and how we are, we're looking at going into a braiding shop or into some business where someone is not giving us the proper service. If someone is not deserving of my time or my money, don't worry, you won't get it. You only have one time to show out on me, and that will be your last time. I'm not coming back to give you another chance to make it up. I'm just not coming back, because surely I can go somewhere else. So I don't get the point of calling for this mass economic boycott on African businesses and braiding shops, or whatever you want to call it. So to me, knowing how we started, Jim Crow mirrored the apartheid. The police killings in Brazil mirrors the ones in Chicago, in Atlanta, or anywhere else. And the oppressor never cared about where we came from. To them, we are black. It doesn't matter if you call yourself Eritrean, Jamaican, from the state of Georgia, or anywhere else. You, to them, are black. N-word, hard R. That was never our word. It was never meant to be a term of endearment. We never owned it. We never came up with it. So, and then to the black migrants who would distance themselves from us or from any other people a part of the African diaspora. The frustration, I guess, if you don't recognize that you are benefiting from the sacrifices of the American black people. You are able to come into the United States of America because of the sacrifices of black people. And to have an attitude of, well, we're better than you, or try to look down on us, or believe in any of the stereotypes that you were fed here or abroad is just crazy. It's nasty work. And what they will do to you, which some that I've spoken to have already learned, they will use you for resources, they will use you for whatever plots they're trying to do, and then they will simply discard you per usual. So if you're getting over here and you want to feel like you are better than, you're not. We're no better than you, and you're no better than us. And to buy into and celebrate the stereotypes that someone has given to you, spoon-fed to you, whether it's because of missionary work or whatever educational systems, is only doing a disservice to all of us. So I would encourage you to learn our history. I would encourage you to not get over here and try to pretend to be top shelf and make everybody else less than that. Because at the end of the day, your accent, your flag, your passport will not shield you from anti-blackness. It never has, and it never will. We will never be accepted as white proximates. They're not superior to us in any shape, form, or fashion. And the more we get on even playing ground, it plays itself out in every story. So I don't know why some folks feel like they have to be in the setting of the oppressor. If that suits your boat, then go ahead. Just don't make it to where you're causing harm to one of us, because then you're doing their work for them. And then you're undermining us. So at the end of the day, for those that are, especially in the FBA community or wherever else, and you're not for sure, or you don't know our shared history, Harry Belafonte, Sidney Poitier, Shirley Chisholm, Marcus Garvey, Stokely Carmichael, they didn't originate in the U.S. Their roots came through the Caribbeans. But guess what they did? They made damn sure that they helped us in America with the fight for civil rights. And if you don't know that, maybe you need to go find out our history and our shared stories, because we all have something to lose. And to sit here and try to gatekeep is crazy. History proves, unity proves that when we work together, we have better outcomes. And until we recognize that, we will continue to be at a standstill, some of us anyway. So I think that it is very telling when people jump out here and they say stuff and it's like, you don't even know our story, but you're just loud and wrong, and you don't have any problem with keeping up these diaspora wars that's tearing us apart. So a lot of people have stood with us, and to say otherwise it's historically wrong. And instead of naming names of the oppressors and the colonizers who are benefiting from the economic wealth through slavery or through exploiting African resources, Caribbean resources, South American resources, we're looking at something that just doesn't make sense. The same forces that colonized Africa, that ran the slave trade, that destroyed Tulsa, that ran rapid through Brazil and watered down the Argentinian communities, they are the ones that we should be turning our attention to. And when we're fighting each other, we are doing their job. And I just can't understand why people are missing that point. So I think that we need to collaborate. We need to build diaspora business networks. We need to advocate for global laws that fight anti-blackness, because again, we are global, and so is their hate. Their anti-black hate is global. We need to engage in some cultural exchanges without erasing someone's pride in their heritage, their flag, their borders, whatever they want to remember as their culture. But we all stem from the same roots. We're just on different branches. And in closing, I'll just say that we need to make sure that we hold hands and that it doesn't have to be a kumbaya moment. No family has smooth sailings, none. But what we do need to recognize is that until we pool our resources, until we pool our strategies, we're gonna be fighting small little skirmishes while they're playing chess. So I think that it's important for us to not engage in these diaspora wars and to not get distracted and to stay focused on what's really happening within our communities, how they're erasing us, how they're doing this anti-DEI, this anti-CRT, how they're taking what was ours and they're starting to turn into disparaging words. So until we learn to fight together, we will always be divided, and a divided house will not stand.